Welcome to the Dr. Geo Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Geo, where it is my goal to share with you ideas, tools, and some of my clinical experience on how you can help yourself to improve your urological function and live better with age. Today, we're going to talk about sleep. Here's the thing with sleep, and there's many wearables out there, and to measure your sleep and to see how much time you're spending in bed and how much time you're actually sleeping and how much time you're spending in deep sleep versus REM sleep. The first thing is that if I asked you, hey, Larry, how many hours a night do you sleep? Well, a typical response, I sleep 6 hours a night. How do you know? You were in bed for 6 hours. So you went to sleep at 11, got up at 5 a.m. But were you sleeping for 6 hours? So the amount of time that you're in bed and the amount of time that you're actually sleeping are two completely different things. And I'll tell you, on average, you're actually sleeping roughly about an hour or 2 hours less than the amount of time that you're actually in bed. So if you tell me I sleep 6 hours a night and you don't have a way of measuring that, then I'm going to think you're sleeping really 5 hours, maybe even 4 hours a night. But a quick takeaway here is, more often than not, go to sleep at a certain time and wake up at a certain time. And that's more important than having to sleep 7 hours, 8 hours every night. All right. So Dr. Geo, I understand sleep is really important, but there's no way. I have insomnia. There's no way I can do that. Here's the deal. What I've noticed throughout my 20-year clinical experience, and again, I'm not a sleep doctor, right? So I'm a naturopathic functional medicine doctor that specializes in men's health and urology. So it's all connected. The better you sleep, the better you do urologically. What I've learned is that most people, it's not a biochemical problem or just a disease like insomnia. It's behavioral. And you've created bad sleep habits. Why? Because it's really not important, or at least you thought that it wasn't until you listened to this podcast. The first thing you need to do is change your mentality about sleep. Understand that you do need to get enough sleep. Poor sleep is associated with prostate cancer. A group of people that automatically will have an increased risk of prostate cancer are night shift workers. Not my opinion, scientific fact. But the bottom line is sleep is important for your urological function. It's important to prevent or reduce the risk of cancer. It's important for your brain health. Energy efficiency and burning abilities happens when you're sleeping. So that means there's a lot of activity happening when you're sleeping. Testosterone, right? Many of you guys want to know how to boost your testosterone. You guys ready to, inject your thighs with testosterone, right? Sleep. You produce most of your testosterone while you sleep. And that's one of the main reasons why at times there's a morning woody. Men who wake up with an erection. By the way, there's another component. From the time you're 13 to the time you're very old and probably forever, men get 3 to 5 erections a night. That's only during sleep. There's a reason for that. That's to keep the organ healthy because there's more blood flow going to the organ. So have I convinced you already that you need to prioritize sleep and not think that is a waste of time? Or, my best line is this: I'll sleep when I die. So you need to change the mentality. Sleep is absolutely essential. If you don't get good sleep, you're more hungry throughout the day because of the chemicals that are produced and not produced that make you more hungry. It starts with changing your mentality about sleep. How do I sleep with good quality? First thing, alcohol interferes with quality sleep. You know this. You drank a lot and you slept for 8 hours and you wake up groggy and the next day is horrible. So that's because alcohol interferes with quality of sleep. That's not the only thing. Big, heavy meals at night interferes with quality sleep. So sometimes your last meal is at 10 p.m. and you're eating this huge mountain, a lot of carbs, everything. You wake up with what I call a carbohydrate hangover. You still feel like you drank and you're saying, man, I didn't drink, but I feel like I'm hungover. Right. That's because you overate. If you're going to drink alcohol, give yourself 2 to 3 hours, when you stop drinking before you go to bed. Same thing with eating and your meals, 2 to 3 hours. Dr. Geo, Saturday night too, really? Look, I'm saying learn the rules really well first and then break them intelligently. Live life, enjoy life. Life, it is what it is, but break them intelligently. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate our relationship here, and I appreciate what we're doing, and I appreciate you tuning in podcast after podcast. It means a lot to me, and If I ever not sleep well enough, it's because I'm thinking, how can I deliver the best information I can so that you, my audience, can live your best life as you age? This is Dr. Geo signing off. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Dr. Geo Podcast. You can watch all episodes of this podcast and much more by subscribing to my YouTube channel on youtube.com/Geo Espinoza ND. If you love what you heard today, you can help by leaving a 5-star review of the podcast on Apple and Spotify, as each review helps us reach more men who are serious about improving their urological health and how to function better with age. And for the latest research and actionable takeaways in the world of men's health and integrative urology, sign up for my newsletter at drgeo.com. I'll see you next time. And now for a brief disclaimer. This podcast is for general information only, and we're not forming a doctor-patient relationship through this medium. The use of the information and all links associated with this podcast is at the listener's risk and is not to replace medical advice from a physician or a healthcare practitioner. Lastly, thoughts and opinions related to this podcast are my own and may not reflect the views of any institution or organization I'm associated with.